Welcome to the Midnight Writers Podcast, helping authors become better writers.
Episode 13, Interview with Amity Green. This is John.
This is Lena.
This is Ben.
This is Amy.
And we have with us special guest author Amity Green.
Hi.
Hello. So thank you again for joining us for these podcasts.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure having you on here. And so Kevin Eikenberry, who we had last month, is the one who introduced us. How do you know him?
He is my writer buddy. We have known each other for about 3 years, I guess. We bounce stories off of one another. I mean, we kind of edit or beta read for one another. And then also, I mean, we talk life together too. And he is somebody I consider to be one of my best friends.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and he's a great guy.
It's good to have a good writing buddy.
It is. Yeah.
How'd you guys meet? Was it networking?
No, we met, well, I guess you could consider it that, but critique group. We both were both members of the Fiction Foundry here in town, and the place, I think we actually met at Old Chicago. But yeah, that's when I met him. Like I said, I think it was 3 years ago.
Awesome. So you said you've been writing since 1992?
Yes. Or, yeah, before that, because there were some really bad country songs. When I was younger.
Those don't exist.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm curious now. I want to know what they are.
You really don't.
I'm a few bars, yeah.
So what have been your favorite moments of writing?
Of course, there was that first paid acceptance that was huge. A close second was finding who I was in that anthology with. You know, some of people that I consider to be like an idol, you know, who I want to be when I grow up, kind of a person. My first convention is still, I don't think anything is ever going to touch it, because it just changed the way I see my job as a writer. It's like networking changed in meeting someone in the same room, and like pitching probably is one of my favorite things too. As a writer, it's one of my favorite things to do, and a lot of people get bajiggity about pitching, but I love it. I live to pitch, and it's because I like meeting people. So the other thing was the first time my dad read something I wrote. That was huge.
Hopefully a good experience.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Well, cool. Okay, so what have been the worst experiences in writing?
Oof, there have been some doozies. I think probably the one that is never going to go away is my first novel, which was an enormous amount of crap. And you know what? Now that I think about it, that novel was probably about 160,000 words of said crap. It's just, and it was back in the day and I finally got somebody to actually want to read it, and they were in New York, which is, oh my gosh, you know, as a writer, a young writer, I was like, wow, this could really be something. But I was getting ready to bless the world with this book anyway, so look out, because here it was coming. And it was back in the day when you had to print everything out, and so this was a brick of paper, and I got medium mail pricing at the post office, which was decent, but it was mortifying getting that back, because I received a form letter back with it, and it had this big monster rubber band around the top that snapped on there. She stuck her form letter in there and then stuck it back in the mail. And, you know, I guess, you know, that was pretty bad. It was really bad. I actually cried, but I was a very young writer, and it was actually a blessing too, though. So I don't know, I guess it's how you look at it, but yeah, I'm never going to forget the feeling of being crushed.
Yeah, but you stuck with it.
I did. Yes.
Is that a good decision? Or
Yeah.
sign of insanity?
I don't know. I think, you know, I can look back and I can pull from that experience to get better, to improve. So, yeah.
Some people don't even finish the 160,000 words. It's like 10,000 words, I'm done.
Yeah. I had to look at it that way. If you've finished a novel, you've actually, tackled a milestone and come out on top. So there is that. That's a really good point.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Well, your series that you're working on
Yes.
is urban fantasy with gargoyles.
Yes.
And you touched on that a little bit earlier, but why gargoyles?
I love them. I've always loved them. And I did get to go over to London and study abroad in 2010. And I totally geeked out and took all kinds of pictures of gargoyles everywhere I went. And that's a lot. We're talking London. And we toured museums and everything. And that was very rewarding. Well, I toured old bookstores, and that's where I got the concept. And I thought, what if a college student, only of course a traditionally aged college student, got trapped in one of these old bookstores, and they're full of antiquities and like all this great stuff that I just really wanted to get my hands on. What if she was like me in that sense, and they got locked into a bookstore, and there was like some old druid in there who changed her into a gargoyle? What would it be like? And then my brain was just like churning and churning. What would it be like? And she would be scaly, and she would have to learn to fly. And she's a character. She's a quick wit, and she is sarcastic, and she's an Austenite, and that does not go away no matter where you live. So, her character, she meshes with gargoyle really well. She lets a lot of stuff roll off her back, and she uses it to her advantage. But she was also an orphan. So, she's a really deep character who uses being a gargoyle to her advantage. A lot of it's get-backs. A lot of it's, not being pushed around anymore. Because growing up as an orphan, she kind of had to go with the flow a lot.
And what's the name of this book?
Scales is the first one. The second one in the series is called Phantom Limit, and the third one in the series is called Soul Count.
Cool. And when's the next one coming out?
Would ask. I am almost done. My publisher is being very patient, bless his soul. I should be done with it very, very soon and send it to him. But I like to have my stuff very clean before I send it off. And I don't know. I should have been done with it by now. But I went to Starfest. Starfest got in the way. It was a really great experience. And so now, I got to get back to writing. I need to finish it up. I'll bet I have probably 10,000 words tops to go. And that's not much.
Well, good luck.
Thanks. I'd love to say June. Maybe if I do say June, that's what I'll do. I'm going to say June.
You can say June. You have to specify which year, though.
I know, right? We'll say June in a couple months.
So this podcast is airing May 25th. So in the next couple weeks, we could be seeing your book.
We could. And then maybe not.
The mystery lies ahead.
I know. If I could get it over to him by June, I would be very, very happy because we've discussed, we've got conventions coming up. My daughter is going off to college in August, and she also plays competitive volleyball, and so I fly around the nation with her to do a lot of that. So mommy stuff, of course, comes first, but then hopefully I can go ahead and get the rest banged out. And the funny thing is, book 3 is already halfway done because I did NaNoWriMo. And 50,000 words. There they are. So, we'll call that half done.
Awesome. Yeah, we're big fans of NaNoWriMo here.
Yeah, I am too.
Just condenses it all into one nice little package.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite author? Or who is your favorite author?
My favorite author is Jack Ketchum. I love his work. As far as that's horror, and I've got horror down in my roots bad, so that'll never go away. As far as urban fantasy stuff, I really love Karen Monning, Sherilyn Kenyon. And of course, she's one of those that's right on the line, horror, urban fantasy. She does great work. So that's 3 of them. I've mentioned Joe Lansdale. I like Joe Lansdale a lot. He's a horror guy. I know.
So you like horror fiction?
I do. That's where I started off. Yeah.
Cool.
Even my urban fantasy stuff is very dark. And I mean, even the series that we've been talking about, there are elements of horror in that. Book 1, we could probably say is okay for YA stuff. Book 2, I wouldn't suggest it. The horror really picks up, and my character Tessa gets older. And so she's doing more adult things. You have to, expect that. And she kind of, her language, she gets frustrated more easily. And so she might drop some colorful phrasing in Phantom Limb Itch. So, yeah, it changes. It really does. But I figure if maybe like a 17 or 18-year-old has read Scales, then by the time Phantom Limb Itch is out, that 17 or 18-year-old will be older. Less offendable. I don't know. Or their parents will be anyway. I don't know. I'm just writing as it comes. I'm not writing for the genre. I'm writing the story as it's happening.
Cool. Anybody else?
I asked my question.
Well, so I'm curious then, if you're really into this gargoyle theme, what did you think of the 90s animated show of gargoyles?
Yeah. And I did watch that and everything, but I mean, no, not really what I had in mind. I do have a funny story about, the gargoyle theme, though. Have you guys watched I, Frankenstein?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay. But guess when that happened? 2013, 2014-ish. Yeah, it's very recent. Right about the same time my novel Scales hit the works. Again, I was in tears. You guys are going to hear about me crying a lot, I guess. I don't know. But so, yeah, I was pretty sad when I found out that I, Frankenstein, had living, breathing gargoyles in it, though. Mine are better. They're more relatable, So, yeah, that was another thing. We can talk about crushing moments being a writer. That was one of them. Coming up with what you feel like is an original concept and everything. Sometimes, there are going to be other things out there. When you thought you had it in the bag, you thought you were the only one with this brainchild. And then a movie is going to pop up and they have gargoyles in it. So you just have to hang in there, though, because it's very different. It's different than the cartoon, and it's very different than I, Frankenstein, too, because they weren't even central. The gargoyles weren't even really the central thing. Thank goodness.
Yeah. I'm sure Isaac Newton knows a little bit about hey, I have this great idea. Somebody else is also doing it at the same time.
Yeah, you'll have that. Yeah.
So I like to ask authors, just kind of like, what's your writing habits? When do you write? What do you use? That kind of stuff.
I have an old monster desktop that I write on primarily, but I do also have a laptop to take with me. Primarily, I use the desktop. I have a room where I can close the door, because I do have a teenage daughter and a demanding life, on the outside, and I also do have a day job that I work. So I have to, like 3 or 4 years ago, I had to decide that my writing is actually my job also. And I had to get, serious about it, and I had to dedicate time to it. And so my creative process happens best about 3 o'clock in the morning. That's not always convenient. But when I can, I write really early in the morning when I can. And sometimes, before bed at night, I'll get like an idea or something, and I'll have to go and, put it down on a board. But the other parts of writing, there's the promotional work and all of the networking and, sitting in front of social media. Oh my goodness, I can let that take too much of my time. So, because it's fun, and I get to talk, with people like y'all guys, and we're all like fun on social media. So I have to really be careful and budget my time, because I have to do my day job, and I have to tend to my family, and sleep is good. If I can pencil in some sleep or food.
For June, right?
Yeah, I know. I might have some, after I send off that book, there might be some sleep in there. So did that answer your question?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and then there's the critique group thing. I have to have time in there. I'm actually on hiatus from my critique group right now, just because I have so many things that are unfinished. I have 3.5 novels that aren't finished now. I got to get those done. And you have to give a certain amount of your time to be a good member of a critique group. So I have to do everybody else's stuff too. And I was just spending so much time. Now I got to get these books written.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good stuff.
So where can people find you online?
Facebook, if you search out Amity Green, I think there are a couple random people named Amity Green, but if you find the one that says Marie Whitaker, that is me. My real name is Marie. And let's see, amitygreen.net. If you go there, there is a Let's Connect link, I think it says on the top there, and you can click on that one, and there you will find links to everything. There's Tumblr and Twitter, and Twitter is Amity Green Books, at Amity Green Books, and then there's Instagram, Amity_Green, I think. And let's see, have I covered them all? I think that's all the social media on the web.
So I'm curious, as an author, how do you use your Instagram to reach people? Because it's obviously very visual, very picture-based.
Yeah, it's all photos. When I'm out at cons or
Okay.
whatever, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm snapping pictures. Like R2-D2 was like one of my big moments at Starfest, because he's relatable to me. That's like from my childhood. So Instagram, childhood, hashtag childhood hero, Starfest 2016, and so, yeah, the hashtags are big with Instagram, and I also have that linked to my Tumblr and my Facebook and my Twitter. So that's 4 of them all at once, and man, is that a time saver.
Right.
It's a blessing. Because you have to keep posting,
Yeah.
on them. You have to keep them
You
lively.
miss a beat and they'll forget you.
Yeah, I know. You're like,
Who?
who?
Yeah.
Remember me?
Yeah.
So I've got to ask this question on
'Kay.
behalf of my wife. I see on your website you like owls. What is your favorite kind of owl?
Snowy owls are gorgeous.
Awesome.
And then those little ones, I don't know the name of, pygmy owl. There we
Oh,
go. Yeah, those are cute. I don't really like the ones with the big horns.
Oh, the great
The
horned owl.
horn owl.
I don't like those ones as much, but they're still beautiful, majestic birds. And then the ones that look like aliens are cool. And I don't know which one that is, but there was a show, and the aliens actually, the people, they were haunting people, and the people thought that they were seeing an owl outside their window, but it was actually the alien had, made themselves to kind of appear like that, and so these people, when they're seeing the owl, they were like, "Wow, that's really an alien." But it does look that way because they have the big, round, circular, dark eyes. So I don't know. I guess I like them all.
Any owls in any upcoming stories?
There's an owl in Phantom Limb Itch, and there's some Scottish guys up there, and they call them hoolits. And there's actually a really bad joke about a litter of kittens. I apologize. I apologize for that. You're making me remember now. Yeah. One of the Scottish guys makes a comment about the kittens being hoolit bait. Sorry, world. It's fiction. It didn't really happen. No owls or kittens were harmed in the making of that scene.
Stop emailing her, Peter.
I know. I don't want a single email about that either, people.
Didn't do actual research on it,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it.
Ben mentioned researed as a
boy.
horror author and
Yes.
an urban fantasy author. What is the strangest thing you've had to Google?
Whew, I've Googled a lot of murder scenes. I've Googled stuff like that. One of my favorites that I actually had to do a little bit of research, but it also came from a little bit of pulling from my childhood, was a lady committed suicide by drinking a solution of lye. Yeah, as quick as she could. And so I knew lye is very caustic. I don't know if any of you have ever made your own soap. We do some crafty
I've seen
things
Fight
around
Club.
my So yeah, it is very caustic even to get it on your skin. Well, and so a lot of it is imagination. And of course, this is fiction, so I blew it up a little bit. But yeah, if you drink lye, it's going to do some serious stuff to soft tissue. So first we would have just a little bit of white foam because liquid would be activating the lye, but then it would gradually turn pink and onward. So yeah, that's a pretty graphic scene.
I'm not gonna lie, that sounds awful.
Oh, you're a funny one.
I
Lie.
like to think so, but yeah. My wife merely groans.
At least you get that.
Yeah.
It fuels me.
Oh man.
Anything else? Any last questions?
I just have some upcoming stuff. I have a book signing coming up over at the Bookman in Old Colorado City. They're on Colorado. It's on April 16th. I think it starts at 1 in the afternoon. And then after that, my next appearance, I'm going to go up to Stoker Con. That's in Las Vegas, and that's a young con. It's the first year they're actually doing a Stoker Con, and they'll hand out Bram Stoker awards. I'm really excited about that, so I'll get to see lots of horror writers and friends up there. And then, like I said, I'm thinking about Mile High Con. I would like to do Myths and Legends Con too this year. I had just emailed those guys yesterday, so hopefully that'll be a cool gig too. I love cons, so I'm excited about those ones.
Very nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, once again, thank you for joining us for this month. And
Yeah.
We look forward to your next book.
Well, thanks. Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Cool. All right, bye.
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 Thank you for listening to the Midnight Riders podcast. If you've enjoyed this content, sign up for our newsletter on our website, midnightriderssociety.com, where you'll get a lot more great information. See you next Wednesday.